What's up, scholars? Welcome back to your last lesson for summer 2020. I'm Ms. Akin.
And I'm Lisa.
And today we are talking about
angle sums.
Woo, nice.
So let's go ahead and get into our lesson today about angle sums. So before we do any example problems, let's talk about the simplicity of the angle sum. So let's say we have a triangle. And we know that the three angles inside of a triangle will always add up to be 180 degrees. So now let's say we have a quadrilateral or a four-sided shape. Now, if we see closely, we can actually cut this shape into two triangles and each one would be 180. So the angle sum for this quadrilateral would be 360 degrees. Now let's suppose we have a five-sided polygon or shape, and we can cut this one into three different triangles, each 180. So for this five-sided polygon, we would get an angle measure of 540 degrees. Now, I think it'd be kind of boring if we got to cutting each one of our shapes as they get bigger into triangles. So there's actually an interior angle equation that we can use, and that is n minus 2. We always want to put this in parentheses times 180. So your number of sides minus 2 times 180 for each of those triangles. So say, for example, if you had a nine-sided polygon, you would just do 9 minus 2. So you would just put 9 in place of n. You would get 7. And then you would just multiply that number by 180 to get that angle sum for that shape. So this is a really simple way to go ahead and find that angle sum. And the last thing that we're going to want to talk about quickly is our exterior angle sum. So the exterior angle sum will always be 360 degrees, no matter what shape it is. And these are just the key things you're going to want to remember when going into our lesson about angle sums today. Let's go ahead and dig into our examples. So for our first one, it looks like we have a quadrilateral or a four-sided shape. And if we remember from our first example, we can actually divide this into two different triangles, which would equal 360. So Ms. Akin is writing down the interior sum equation. And when we do our equation, we get 2 times 180, which just means that the angles will all add up to 360. Now the way I would go ahead and solve this is do x plus 67 plus 69 plus 76 plus 86 to equal 360. And then just go ahead and solve for that x angle measure. So this is one of our simpler problems, as we know that our quadrilateral would just be equal to 360. Divide 231 from both sides. And for angle measure x, you get 129 degrees. So let's go ahead and get into our second example for today. We are asked to find the interior angle for a convex 11gon. So what this means, it just means that we have an 11-sided polygon, and what we're going to want to do is use our interior angle sum to find what those angles will all add up to. So Ms. Akin plugged 11 in for our number of sides. We get 9 times 180, and when we solve, we will find the sum of those interior angles, which will be 1,620 degrees. So just remember to use that interior angle sum equation, and you will be able to solve for these super quick. And for our last example, we are asked to find the measure of each interior angle and each exterior angle in a regular 15gon. So what we want to focus on first is that it says each, so not the overall, and it also mentions that this 15gon is regular, so we know that all its angle measures are equal or the same. So what I would go ahead and do is first find those angle sums for the entire 15gon or 15-sided polygon. So plug 15 in for your number of sides and go ahead and solve as usual. So 15 minus 2 times 180, so we will be doing 13 times 180. And those interior angle sums will be equal to 2,340 degrees. But we're not done yet. Since we want each one, and we know this is regular, we can go ahead and divide this number by 15. why 15? Because each of the angles are equal to each other, and it's a 15-sided polygon. So Ms. Atkin is going ahead and dividing this angle sum by 15. And we will get that each angle inside, each interior angle in this 15-sided polygon will be 156 degrees. Now we still have one more part left to this problem, and we are asked what each exterior angle is equal to. If we remember, the exterior angles of all shapes will be 360 degrees. And once again, if we remember, this is a regular 15-sided polygon, so we would just divide that 360 by 15. And we will get that each exterior angle is 24 degrees. Let's go ahead and do our final review for our very last lesson over angle sums. So if we remember, a triangle adds its angles up to 180, quadrilateral 360, so on and so on. And we can figure this out through our interior angle sum, which is the number of sides minus 2 times 180. Finally, you can go ahead and do the exterior angle sum, which just means that all of the exterior angles will always add up to 360 degrees. So we went ahead and did some example of these. Our first one was a quadrilateral. We just went ahead, solved, realized that our insides would add to 360, solved for x, and we found out that that final angle was 129 degrees. For our next problem, we saw we had 11 sides, but we need to find the interior angle of that figure. So we did 11 minus 2 times 180, and we got 1,620 degrees. Once again, we used the interior angle sum equation. And for our very last problem, we were asked to find each interior angle and each exterior angle. Key part of this problem, remembering that it is a regular polygon, so it just means that each angle is equal to each other. And once we solve for that total interior angle sum, we had to divide that by 15, which means each angle would equal that value. And then finally, for each exterior angle, we remember 360 divided by 15, since it's a regular polygon, to equal 24 degrees.
Nicely done, scholars. You made it to the end of geometry semester 1. I'm so proud of you. My name's been Ms. Atkin.
And my name's been Lisa.
Good luck on your final. Do your best. I love you, and I'll see you next school year.